Hi there, friends. Nibs again. Out in the garage. Got a rainy, kind of nasty day going on outside, so wanted to stay inside and do a little bit of tinkering around. Did a little plinking earlier, and got a video up going up with that. But I wanted to do a little bit of wrenching, I guess you'd say. This is one that I've had sitting around for a little while now. That was brought in to me to take a look at and see if I could get it working again. I actually don't own this one yet, but I'm going to try to get it from the owner. And but if not, he said he'd pay me for the whatever parts and such that needs to be put into it. So we'll see if we can get it going. But to say that it is in kind of tough shape would be an understatement. Everything is locked up. None of the pieces move. The only piece that moves is the bolt. The trigger doesn't move. The safety doesn't move. I think somebody just sprayed it down with WD-40 many years ago, and it's going to be a challenge. It is missing the rear sight, so that's going to be a problem as well. But what we have here is a little Crosman model 180 CO2 22 caliber pellet gun. And this first video, this first portion, I'm going to do just the teardown of it, and then later on I will do some other additions where maybe I clean the stock and clean up the metal and then get it resealed and then see if we can get it working. So let me bring you down to the tabletop here, and we'll go ahead and start working on it. This is probably one of the worst ones that I've ran across, so but we'll go ahead and tear it down and see what it needs, and maybe it won't be salvageable, I don't know. But so far I haven't found one that I couldn't well, I've had a couple that I gave up on and sent off to Henry Ford to have him work his magic on. And but this one here, I think I can take care of this one. So we'll go ahead. I'm going to take this trigger guard right off so I can clean this metal piece up. Everything is kind of rusty and just coated with what I believe is very old WD-40. That front screw actually goes into a post that comes down off from the body of the metal parts, and so now we should be able to it's like glued in there. I'm gonna have to give it a little bit of a, let's see if I can get it to start breaking loose here. It's just, I don't know if you can see all this fuzzy on the stock. That's very old WD-40 that's just dried up and coagulated. There it goes, started to move. I hate doing that kind of stuff to guns like this, but alright, yeah, so even underneath it, just all along the bottom of the metal and everything's just all WD-40. What I have that I think will work on this wood really well, and I'll show you that real quick, but we won't do that in this video. I have a couple different colors of it, but I have this Howard's Restore Finish. This one's golden oak. That one's basically almost no tint to it at all. And then this one's a dark walnut. And I like that one. If you have some scratches that are showing kind of bare wood, you can put that on there and it'll give a little bit of stain back to that bare wood and kind of blend the scratches in and get them covered up. But we'll go ahead and set this stock off to the side and work on that another. You really want to make sure, because I'm going to be using brake cleaner to clean all of this gunk up off this action, and you want to make sure you set your stock far enough away where the brake cleaner can't splatter onto that to that piece. So next thing I want to try to get is It doesn't, I think this piece here is, the screw is not proper in this little plastic. I have a couple of these. Yeah, the screws broke off. But I have a couple of these that was sent to me by Henry, and we'll probably go ahead and replace that, assuming we get it working. Bigger screwdriver. I'm just going to go ahead and start pulling this thing all apart. All of this stuff is all froze up. All of this stuff should move. This should cock back and allow you to cock the gun to shoot. The earlier ones like this one with this metal trigger guard, stamped steel trigger guard, this would only pull back one click. And then the later ones, which I have had one of, it has a cast aluminum trigger guard. Those ones actually would have 2 clicks and allow you to adjust the power of your shot. So now let's see, we want to, so now I just pulled out this longer screw here off the top and pulled out the back plug off the barrel. Now you put a small screwdriver down inside there, and there's a screw. There's a screw in the, let me see if I can get it with this bigger one, get a little torque on it. There's a screw in the back of the bolt. There it goes. That actually holds the bolt into, or the bolt knob into the bolt. You get that loose. Boy, I've never had something, well, I say I never have, but so this really reminds me, I have a Bausch & Lomb Belvar 24 scope, and that was on eBay listed as non-functional. All of the controls are froze up on it, and there's one problem right there. The little port was full of schmutz, so no air would have been able to go out and push the pellet down the barrel. But that Belvar 24, it was listed as non-functional. None of the controls worked, and so it ended up selling pretty cheap. I mean, those are like $1,000 scope, and I got it for way less than that. And what it ended up being was just every bit of the controls were just completely mucked up with what looked like 50-year-old WD-40, and I very carefully tore that scope all apart, cleaned up every little piece of it with some WD-40, or not, some brake cleaner, and got it all degreased, and then used some good gun oil and some good grease, and got it all put back together. And that's one of my best scopes. I actually have it on my Remington Model 37, and it is one shooting gun. So now I got to figure out how to get this it's starting to move already. That's good. So that's not bad. Let's see, I got to get this back piece starting to move out here. There it goes. Yeah, this probably isn't going to be too bad. So this is the hammer assembly. Normally this would be up inside the gun, and you would pull this back and the hammer would catch here. Once you pulled this back and it clicked into place, and then you would pull the trigger, that would fly forward and hit the little valve that's still down inside here, which we still need to get out. So now this little post needs to come out. That's where I like these Knipex smooth jawed pliers. Break it off. That would be very bad. All right, I'm going to pause the camera. I'm going to get this in my vise so I'm nice and steady with my torque on this thing so I don't break that off. But I'll be right back with you. Alrighty, I'm back. I did end up having to resort to a little bit more drastic measures with it, but I did get it out. I did end up having to use a regular pair of channel locks, and it did put a little bite mark in it, but such is life. So now we just got to get these pieces out of here. Alright, so here's the first piece is down here at the bottom now, and I can go ahead and work that out. So one thing you want to watch for, see how this is, see how it's real thin right here and thick towards the inside? This piece has to go back in right or your shot won't fire properly. So thick piece towards the front. Mental note. You guys will remember for me, right? So now we can get, I think, the rest of our valves coming down out here. Grab hold of that. Pull the rest of the valve out. So there is the actual shot valve. So what happens is the little piercing needle is down inside of the front of the valve here, and you put your CO2 cartridge in nose first this way, and then when you actually cock it the first time and shoot it, when this thing hits, it actually pushes that needle out and forward and pierces the CO2 cartridge. It pops it out every time you do that, but it only pierces it once, obviously. But so we have an O-ring here that needs to be replaced. That one doesn't look in too bad a shape, but I've got a whole kit right here from Henry Ford. He did say that one of my viewers mentioned to me that I recommended him for service, and I really appreciate that, guys. For you guys, you know, one hand washes the other, so to speak. So, you know, if you mention that I recommended him, you know, he takes good care of me. He's got 2 guns right now. He actually just finished up for me. You'll be seeing those back on the channel. So the last thing we got to do is get this valve apart. I'm gonna pause it again because I'm gonna clamp this in the vise and then use the smooth jawed pliers to unscrew this. So this top unscrews off, and I don't want to have you guys out of frame while I'm doing this, but I'll bring you back on and we'll finish up this disassembly, and then we can start cleaning things up. Okay, I got this all apart, and honestly everything inside does not look like it's in bad shape at all. Just it had been sitting around and like sprayed down with WD-40 on the outside and in the outer parts of the mechanism. So, but I think these internal parts will clean up just fine. This is the old exhaust valve right here, and that is hard as a rock, but his kit does come with a brand new exhaust valve in it as well. So everything you need to rebuild this gun is right here. So you have he includes a Delrin much more abrasion resistant O-ring for the CO2 cap, so that's important. So when you screw that into the, because that's what's going to come in and out more often than anything else to replace that CO2 cartridge, and so you want something that's got a lot more abrasion resistance. So all right, so this concludes the disassembly portion. I'm not gonna keep you guys on camera while I clean everything up, but once I have all this stuff cleaned up and ready for reassembly, I will bring you back on and show you how to put this thing back together. All right. Hope you liked the video. If you did, like, share, and subscribe. Stay tuned for parts 2, 3, whatever, however many I make this into. I'm going to do one solely on cleaning up that stock, but we'll also do one on complete reassembly of this. So anyway, make sure you hit that notification bell. You'll be notified when I do post up new videos. Till next time, have a great day.